Hey guys, so today I want to talk about a very special item in my wardrobe that I purchased a couple of months ago to replace the first one that I got because I just didn't feel comfortable with the amount that I spent on the first one, me wearing it all out and about. And so today I'm talking about my 1967 Rolex Oyster Perpetual date. So after I sold my first Rolex, which was much newer, it was a 2011, I decided to get this because obviously the price was way better. With this watch being a 34mm size Rolex, people are not as desirable of the older Rolexes in this size because it's a little bit small, but if you're a smaller guy like myself, it actually works well on your wrist. So backstory, I was looking on Chrono24 and eBay and a bunch of different sources to get vintage Rolexes because I wanted this one to be vintage. I wanted it to have more charm, more character, and that's exactly what I got. But I was looking on all the different sites that you can get watches, and I stumbled across this listing on eBay that looked really good. And so I started asking a couple of questions back and forth with the seller, and they were very friendly. The guy had the watch for like 15 years, and he was looking to get rid of it. And so he sent me a few different pictures to verify that the watch was authentic, and I went ahead and made the purchase. After I made the purchase through eBay, there was like a couple of days where they sent the watch into eBay's like verification people, and so they verified the authenticity of the watch, and then I received it from them. And I noticed once I got the watch, the guy had said that it was about a minute fast, and so when the watch came, it was actually about 2 minutes fast, which was not bad during like the first day, but after like the second or third day, the time would be like 2 or 3 minutes off. And so I knew I was going to get it serviced eventually, but I had to get it serviced a little bit more sooner than what I wanted because I was traveling, I was wearing the watch, and I may have dropped it on some tile floor, but we're not going to talk about that. So I dropped it on the tile floor and I broke the crown, the thing that the crown screws onto. I forgot what they said it's called, but the watch was in rough shape after that, and also scratched the crystal a little bit. So once I made it back, I realized that I had done a shoot a couple of months back, and a lady next door at the place that I was filming had owned a jewelry store, and she recommended that once the time came, if I needed to get my watch serviced, that I send it to Official Time Watch, which is a jewelry store, a watch repair shop in Utah. So that's what I did. After I dropped the watch, I sent it in to them, and they inspected it. They took a look at it, at the watch, and figured out everything that it needed. It obviously needed to be serviced because it's a 55-year-old watch, but also with the damage, there was some other work that needed to be done. So I then got an estimate, and the estimate was very straightforward with their pricing. They charge for older watches $7.95 to service them, but I also needed things like a new crystal, I needed a new barrel, I needed an auto adjust device, I needed a new crown and a new tube. So with the service being $7.95 and then all the additional parts that I broke when I dropped it, it ended up coming to $15.71. So they serviced the watch. It took about a month. When the watch returned, I can tell you it was a whole new watch. They polished it, which I know is not advised. And I know you're not supposed to polish vintage Rolexes because I guess it hurts the value. But I plan on having this watch forever, or until I find something else that I really love and sell this to get that. And so I can tell you it runs so good, literally to the time. If you look at the time on your phone and then you look at the watch, the time is exactly the same at all times. The watch has a great power reserve. It runs very well. It sounds a lot better. There's a lot less noise that comes from it. Also, the crown, everything works great. The only thing I had them leave was the original dial because the dial does have a lot of really great patina to it. It's kind of turned this nice champagne goldish color, which I think is amazing. And overall, the watch returned in way better condition than when I first got it. And so I was very happy with Official Time Watch and the job that they did servicing my Rolex. That was a little bit about the service. Now I want to talk about why I chose this watch specifically. And that's because I wanted something vintage. I wanted a smaller size. I thought the 36 was a little bit big for me, and that I could pull off the 34, which I can. I think it's actually a great size for most normal size guys. Now if you're 6'4", you're 6'5", get yourself a 36 or a 40 or a 41 because that's going to be more appropriate. But for smaller guys, this is the appropriate size. This is a great everyday watch. You can dress it up, you could dress it down. It's a little bit more casual in its styling, and so that's why I decided to go with it. I still wear my other watches, my Seikos, my Timexes. Those were great starting points. But I think Rolex is the top of the line when it comes to watches, at least in my opinion. And so I like to wear a quality timepiece. Now, one tip I do have is if you do decide to get yourself a vintage Rolex or a new one or whatever, always, always, always get insurance on the watch. Now, the insurance is not for repairs, but the insurance is for if you lose it, if someone steals it, you're covered, because you'd rather have insurance on the watch than to be out all that money. So that's the final thing I have for you. That is my experience buying a 55-year-old watch, dropping it, having it serviced, and now loving it. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to hit that like button. Also go ahead and subscribe and share. And with that being said, I'm Robert, this is GentStyle, and I'll see you in the next video.